So now that the thrilling tale of our heroes go to buy pizza has concluded, we've caught up to where we were before. So let's just continue. Heading over to a suspicious circus tent, as Paula says, carefully making sure they weren't spotted by monsters. After passing several trees that for some reason were unnerving Ness and Paula due to previous past experience, the group made it to the south portion of the town, where they found a large purple circus tent that didn't look particularly odd, save for the desolate location. A lot of aura there. Are we sensing a boss battle? As they got closer to it, Lucario's protective instincts pulled Chris to his side, though his trainer didn't object. "That tent is suspicious, you say?" Juff asked. The tent wasted no time to make itself known to them once a demonic face smirked evilly at them, known as the Boogie Tent. Okay. Horrified of the floating face on the tent's front entrance, Chris yelled and took cover behind the growling Lucario and the rest of the team. They were too slow to avoid a bright flash that came from the tent's eyes. Their eyes met the flash at full force, and nearly everyone started crying, much to their collective chagrin. They weren't necessarily bawling or tossing around needlessly. Their eyes were just full with tears that they couldn't focus well on their eyesight. "Gah!" Juff shrieked. "It used PSI Flash Alpha on us," Paula said, trying to clear her uncontrollable flood of tears. Lucario felt humiliated with his eyes crying tears for no good reason, but as long as Chris was next to him protected, everything would be fine. Even using his aura vision, the tears from his eyes prevented him from spotting aura waves by making them all look blurry, whatever. However, being a very special Lucario, he was able to keep track of the tent's aura by increased focus. Oh, I like how he makes up powers for him on the spot. The others didn't have to be told where the tent was, as it was just right in front of them. And the biggest problem, though, was the fact that the tent's face was the strike point, not the tent itself. It was a fact they found out when Paula fired off a frigid wind from her hands that bounced off from the tent's uncovered portions. "Dang!" Ness said, barely seeing the face warp to the left to laugh at their misery. "The face has to be struck to do damage." "Use area of effect PSI skills," Paula suggested. She fired off a small bolt of fire that erupted into a wide wave of flames that struck the warping face head-on. It shrieked in pain and shook the tent as a whole to dissipate the heat, going back to smoking and laughing at them. Even more so when Juff... Oh, just in time. When Juff failed to shoot it with his gun. Just as Ness and the other prepared to strike back, they were all struck by a wave of fire. The children recoiled a bit at this, but Lucario held his... But they didn't burn? Not even a little bit. They were knocked. Okay, well, no, it's video game knowledge. It's video game logic. I can't really criticize it for that. I just feel it just feels a bit odd that or Channel Chris is trying to make it all kind of realism, sort of. Well, in the sense that it's all like people react to stuff. When the fucking goat stomped on Juff, he actually, he felt severe pain in his ribs, he didn't it didn't just Juff took 10 damage or whatever. It said that as well, but, there was an element of sort of, actual pain to it. But he appears to have completely thrown that out. I know I shouldn't get bogged down in, in the lore too much, but, yeah, it just seems odd that all of a sudden they get hit by fire and it just knocks them back. Whatever. But Lucario held the children recoiled a bit of this, but Lucario held his position, not feeling very damaged. "Oh!" Juff shrieked. Where did that fire come from? I can't see well." "Guys," spoke Chris weakly, his hands somehow stretched out in front of him to themselves. "I feel strange. Odd, even." "What?" Paula said, dusting off her dress. "Strange, you say?" There was something Paula needed to ask when she remembered Chris didn't complain about crying eyes. "Your eyes aren't crying?" No, Chris muttered, worrying Lucario. Hey, one thing he didn't complain about. "No," Chris muttered, worrying Lucario. "Everything in front of me is spinning." and I don't know why I don't know what to do. The other four stopped their movements to process what he had said. Okay, Ness spoke up. That was a weird way to phrase that. Oh, for heaven's sake, Paula said in realization. Chris is feeling strange. The PSI flash from before didn't make him cry, it made him feel strange. The tent is going to pay for that! Lucario roared. Calm down. Lucario roared, resorting to form a large aura sphere with an open palm. This guy's a fucking psychopath. If Chris's Lucario had been a normal one, he wouldn't have been a 6-foot-tall Pokemon with impressive physical strength. He would have needed to charge an aura sphere with 2 palms to concentrate his aura. Since he wasn't a regular one, he was able to charge aura spheres with a single palm in less than half a second, even going so far as to enlarge them in size for massive damage. He hit the weak point for massive damage. Up until now, he never used an aura sphere in the real world because of how chaotic one small sphere could be in the backyard. When he learned the move and fired off a spear to the air, it had caused a lot of panic in the neighborhood when a massive explosion was spotted high above. Now outside in the real world, Lucario had complete freedom to go overboard, a fatal mistake in practice all the same. The children barely saw an illuminating blue shade engulfing the area before it was shot at high speed to the tent's face. Looking shocked at the sphere of destruction, the tent's face shrieked and couldn't manage to escape the blow in time, blowing up within a very large explosion that pushed everyone with a strong gust of wind except for the sphere's owner. Lucario easily reached out to keep Chris from getting pushed back as he witnessed with his aura the eradication of the evil boogie tent within the massive explosion. As smoke flew everywhere, the chaos subsided very quickly and the tent was no more. He's so hideously overpowered. How are there stakes? How are there stakes? Oh, everyone, you know. How are there stakes at all in this story if Lucario can just destroy everything in like one move? This is you can't really create drama when everything just dies so easily. Alright. With the battle over, the children and the aura wielder regained their vision and senses, going back to normal. However, the explosion of aura didn't go unnoticed by the chosen children. Chris himself was too shocked to see the crater where the circus tent used to be. He had forgotten how incredibly destructive Aura Sphere could be in his Lucario. It was times like these that he wished the Aura Pokemon was only tall and not physically able to mow down an entire army. Oh, is he? Okay, well, that's just great. Holy crap! Chris shivered, looking for protection by embracing Lucario's waistline. Lucario sighed, looking worried at his trainer. Sorry! It irked me so badly when it attacked you with that flash as well, he said. Well, Chris didn't stop looking at the smoking crater. He hoped the people in town didn't see the explosion, which was inevitable for sure. I'd hate to see what could happen if you were really angry. His Pokemon sensed waves of fear, feeling guilty for being the cause. Looking apologetic, Lucario knelt down and pulled Chris to his side. I apologize for scaring you, he muttered. It wasn't my intention at all. I was trying to protect you. The boy was touched, but only for a little while. To know he was the probable main reason why Lucario obliterated the boogie tent with such extremes made him feel sick, wondering why he didn't get a baby Riolu instead of a Juggernaut. There was some relief in knowing it wasn't a living person that was destroyed. Yeah, fancy that. Before Chris could say anything, they heard Ness, Paula, and Juff approaching the crater, looking like they were about to have a bathroom accident right there. Holy steaks! Ness breathed out, actually clutching a hand on his beating chest. Just unbelievable, Paula said next, carefully making sure she wasn't going to slip down on the dome-shaped crater. She looked up at Lucario. You are far stronger than you look. Lucario felt proud until Chris shot him. Shot him with a discouraging look to keep him from not going overboard. Why don't you stick around with us till we reach Gygus? Ness asked. No, really, I'm serious with this. We're all children with psychic powers, but you're a god in a dog disguise. Logic dictates us young children should live to be the future of the country. Screw prophecies. Join us. I am not a dog, Lucario said, annoyed. And I've said before we're not planning to travel with you for too long. We've got other matters to attend to. Where? Paula and Juff stared up at the aura wielder. Ah! Lucario looked down at Chris for help. The look on his face told Chris he was the one supposed to come up with the lies, and it pained Lucario to give his trainer the role for now. We're travelling for now, Chris said. That's all there is to it. Just travelling? Ness questioned. Dude, you got yourself a monster in Lucario. Fighting an evil entity of pure evil is far better suited to him than just trekking the earth. Paula then said, Ness, we ourselves can only confront Gygas. We're the chosen ones, and we can only get outside help when it's not about the 8 melodies or Gygas himself. The leader sighed. Yeah, I know. It sucks anyway, he said, kicking a pebble down the crater. He then got the attention of a trash can rolling down to the center of the crater, and something fell out from it. It was a jar with honey. Hey, what's that down there? I'll go and check, Ness offered. As if it was normal for him, the boy was able to hover down using his PSI power, surprising Chris more than Lucario. I'll just stop there.